Detergent plus fabric
And thank you for tuning in to 2 Cent TV. Please take note that everything you hear in this video from me is all alleged, and that includes my opinion. It's for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. The story I'm going to tell you takes place in the 15,803rd largest city in the United States. That city can only be found in the great state of Ohio, where it ranks 681 on their largest city list. The city belongs to Fayette County and is none other than Bloomingburg, Ohio. Yep, Bloomingburg, Ohio. Population 860, according to this website that I'm on. I don't know if there's any YouTube videos out there that shows what goes down in Bloomingburg. I personally don't know much about Bloomingburg, Ohio, but I do know that this is the place to stop when in need of fireworks. So Phantom Fireworks is the one thing I know about Bloomingburg, Ohio, and that's because I've been there plenty of times. So shout out to them, but we're going to move on with this story. As I started digging into the Naomi Sayre story, I realized very quickly that not only do I reside 21 miles approximately from where all this took place, but myself and people that I'm close to are all personally connected to most of these people that's involved in this story. So that was pretty wild to me. But anyway, we're going to get into this story. I'm going to show some video. I'm going to show some news clips, and we're going to talk about what doesn't seem right. But first, please don't forget to hit the like button. It's absolutely free. Of course, it helps me, but it's also the only way to get this story out there. It's way more important than helping me out. Let's get this story out there. I encourage you to share this video with your favorite YouTube detectives, your internet folks that solve all the crimes. Like, get this out there so maybe they can look at something, see something that we're not seeing, and piece this thing together, and let's get some justice for this girl. So I'm going to share the information I obtained publicly via YouTube, Google, stuff like that. I'm also going to point out a few things, just things I noticed, things that made me scratch my head per se. I'm also going to give you some information that's not out there, some info that'll really induce some head scratching. So when I was trying to learn more about Naomi, I reached out to someone that I knew personally, and he knew her personally. He was active on Facebook trying to help rally the troops to find her. He was one of the many people out there that was actually searching for her. This man is family to me, and I respect him like that. Naomi was family to him and his children. So the information I learned from the conversation with him, well, I'll say this. I was in a state of shock after reading a message from this man that described snippets of the hell that she had to endure throughout her very short life. Since then, I've been pretty convinced that someone or more than one are involved. See, getting distracted already. Let's get into the story. Naomi was born on February 28, 2002 in Wilmington, Ohio. She attended and graduated from Miami Trace High School. At age 21, notice I just skipped a whole bunch of years, and we'll get back to that. But at age 21, Naomi was reported missing by her mom on March 5th. This was in 2023. She was last seen on March 4th. She allegedly got into an argument with her boyfriend, ingested something that was not prescribed to her, and left the house she was at on Midland Avenue. She left her phone behind as well. The boyfriend went out looking for her, only to return without her. His search was described as a really short one. An actual search was done by people, dogs, and drones, I believe, but with no success. Then about 17 days later, she's found. So it gets a little weird here, because it was reported that she was found at the same house that she left that night. You know, the night of the argument. And then there's another story that says something about she was found in the upstairs apartment that's attached to that house. So I don't know the exact setup of the house, so I'm not really sure about that. But we're going to get into some of this, and then we're going to get back to that part, from age 0 to 21, and I'll fill you in on a little bit of that. So anyway, let's run through these news clips, and I'll share everything else I got with y'all. But let's just get into this real quick. I might jump in on a couple things, but we'll see how it goes.
40 miles southwest of Columbus lies the small village of Bloomingburg, with less than 1,000 residents. When one goes missing,
every day I wake up and I tell my husband what day it is that she's been gone.
Naomi Sayre, who went missing Saturday morning. Sayre was last seen in the neighborhood near Main Street and Midland Avenue around 4 a.m. last Saturday. Family members say she had a fight with her boyfriend, took a bunch of pills, and stormed out.
She didn't take her phone, which is very unusual. She didn't take her wallet, her purse. She had some bags packed. She was going to go stay with her girlfriend.
But her friend didn't show up, as her boyfriend tried to find her but couldn't, and returned within minutes to the house with her family.
So that was, I believe, her aunt describing the trauma that they was dealing with. She also speaks about Naomi leaving her phone when she left the house that night and having some bags packed to go to her friends, but the friends never showed up. The she had some bags packed part, keep that statement in the back of your head and we can touch on that later. Going forward, they're going to talk about the search and what they did there as far as looking for her. I believe a sheriff from the Fayette County Sheriff's Department is going to be speaking. The reporter's going to ask a key question. Now, I won't give it away now, but just listen for this question. I want you to understand how prepared they were for a situation like this.
Today, nearly 50 people joined hands in prayer and hit the streets searching for Naomi.
Every day that she's not found, it increases the likelihood of a negative outcome.
Sheriff John Fosnow says the bitter temps raises even more alarm when someone is missing.
Is this the first time you guys have done a search?
Yes, it is the first time we've actually conducted a large-scale search. We've had some of our patrol deputies have checked area and checked empty buildings.
He says the community is searching the wood line, creek bed, and the outskirts of town near the rail line.
Why wasn't something like this done closer to when she went missing?
Well, there was a lot of times with missing, especially when people take off on their own, it's not a crime.
Now, police say her boyfriend has been ruled out as a suspect. They do not believe there was any foul play in this situation. Anyone with information to Naomi's whereabouts is asked to call the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. The family is also offering a $1,000 reward for anyone with information as to Naomi's whereabouts if they can find and deliver Naomi safe to home.
Naomi was last seen on March 4th, reported missing on March 5th. And on March 22nd, 17 days later, we get this.
Just in this afternoon, a woman who has been missing for weeks has been found dead. The family of Naomi Sayre says her body was discovered in an apartment above her home in Bloomingburg about 12 hours ago. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office says no foul play is suspected in her death.
Go ahead and read the headline to this one. Look at the face. That is Naomi's mother, Teresa Sayre. And just remember that face, remember that title of this story, and I'll get back to that. Before I go any further, I just want to let you in on some of the things that this young lady had to go through. But before I tell you that, I want to let you know that in 2020, after everything I'm about to tell you happened to her, she was still able to graduate from Miami Trace High School. After hearing what I have to say, you'll understand why this is such a great achievement in my eyes. I mean, all kinds of young adults make it to and through high school, but this girl literally went through hell while achieving that same diploma. So talking to that friend I was telling you about earlier at the beginning of the video, the one that gifted me all the great information about Naomi, he was able to tell me this in regards to her and what she endured throughout life. I've got some paperwork that I'll share that backs up some of what you're about to hear. Here we go. Naomi was a very sweet girl with a very traumatized childhood. She would do anything for anyone and not expect anything in return. Everyone who got the chance to meet her loved her. Now, as for her upbringing, At age 7, her mom would send her off to a man that lived in Mount Sterling that paid her bills. He would send her there every weekend and most of the summer. When she was 11, she told teachers at school the man was making her do things with other little girls. Police raided and found over 200 videos of him, other girls, and boys conducting acts that nobody should be having little kids do. The man's first name was Dusty. At the age of 14, she was taken advantage of, is the words that I will use on here for YouTube purposes, by 3 men that her mom was buying illegal narcotics from. Her boyfriend has had 3 previous girlfriends pass away due to the pressed pills he had that had Fetty Wap in them. I say all that to bring us back to this. I'll go ahead and share this story with you. Detectives with the Fayette County Sheriff's Office have charged Teresa Sayre with obstructing justice related to statements made during the course of the investigation into the disappearance of her daughter, Naomi Sayre. As previously reported, Naomi was found deceased in an upstairs closet in the Sayre home during the early morning hours of March 22nd. Teresa was issued a summons for the misdemeanor charge, and she was subsequently booked and released from the Fayette County Jail. On March 22nd at 12:38 a.m., the Fayette County Sheriff's Office received a report of a person found deceased at a residence located at 50 Midland Avenue in the village of Bloomingburg in northeast Fayette County. Upon arrival, deputies were directed to an upstairs area of the home where the deceased body of Naomi Sayre, age 21, was discovered in a closet. Naomi Sayre was reported missing by her mother, Teresa, on March 5th. And following the discovery of Naomi Sayre, sheriff's detectives were contacted and responded to the scene. They obtained a search warrant to the home and started an investigation. At the time of the missing person report, Teresa Sayre reported that Naomi had ingested medication not prescribed to her and left the home, last seen traveling north on Midland Avenue. At that time, Naomi reportedly left the home without her cellular device. A missing persons case was created by the sheriff's office, and Naomi was entered into the NCIC as a missing endangered person. A community search was coordinated on Sunday, March 12th, where volunteers canvassed the village of Bloomingburg, focusing on the area where Naomi Sayre was last reported to have been seen by her mother. So, in my opinion, Mother Teresa and the boyfriend of Naomi absolutely know more than they've been telling, and possibly are involved more than what we know about. But as of this recording, I can't find anything on the internet that says that Teresa is being charged with anything other than the obstruction charge. I just don't get it. What could have possibly happened in that house? When does a mom's love turn into what I just shared with you about this mom? So mom allegedly lies to law enforcement to throw them off. She says that she's missing and she's left, and she was in an argument with her boyfriend and she took pills that weren't prescribed to her. She took off that way. The boyfriend went looking, couldn't find her. He came back. This is wild. So does Teresa tell all of this to law enforcement, knowing the whole time that she's in the house deceased? Speaking on Naomi, of course. I just don't understand why a mother would do that to her own child. And why didn't the sheriff at least come in and search the damn house? The house is literally ground zero. They're telling you that she left the house angry and they couldn't find her. I would assume that you would at least want to go in and look at the house. If they would have asked permission to search the house to begin with, to get that part out of the way, there's a good chance that it never makes it this far. And remember the aunt that was being interviewed by the news lady? And she said that Naomi was supposed to go to a girlfriend's house. She had bags packed and the girlfriends never showed up or whatever. Yeah, that statement seems like it was intentionally placed there the more I read into this. I think that something went on in that house that people don't want us to know about. That mom went through great lengths to make sure law enforcement looked the other way and didn't focus on that house. Then she had 17 days or so to make the house look the way that she wanted it to before law enforcement came back to search with the actual warrant. The sheriff's department seems to have been in a little over their head, maybe. Even going back to the reporter asking that sheriff in the interview that key question, she asked if they ever had a search like this before or something like that, and he said no. Well, they definitely could have done better on this search. They had drones, they had search dogs, I believe, they had volunteers. They just forgot to clear ground zero. Either way, I don't think it's as clear cut as Teresa would like anybody to believe. This needs a microscope put on top of it, like right on top of it. You guys can really help by sharing this video, maybe getting it out there into the right hands, and get Naomi the attention she deserves and get her some justice, because that's definitely deserved. So after all that, I would like you to do me a favor. If in any way this story seems just a little bit fishy for whatever reason, please share it. Pass it along, because I'm with you. There's a lot of others that are with you as well. Maybe one day my page will be big enough to make a difference in itself, but today's not that day. I need your help. I need everybody's help. Likes and shares are what I need from you to get this story safely through the YouTube universe and into the hands of the real YouTube detectives and internet sleuths. I hope I did good. I'd like to thank everybody that had their hand in helping me and pushing me and get me through this. A special shout out to Papa's helping me out. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, but let's get this story out there. Justice for Naomi. And last but not least, thank you for watching 2 Cent TV.